So I have my distinguished guest, Sayyid Ahmed Qazwini. And before we start with the actual topic that we're speaking about today, I just want to get to know you, just in case for those that don't really know you that well. So I mentioned most of your biography. I just want to get a feel of how you started off, for example, in lecturing, maybe, and a brief background that you can share with us, inshallah.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله الطاهرين. Well, I guess I can say my lecturing career began with this organization, the MYC, but it previously was called the Young Muslim Association, the YMA. The first lectures that I ever gave was during UIMA, that was during the early 2000s, probably 2002 and 3. I would give certain short lectures during the Friday night programs that are still continuing till now. And I had studied a little with my father and some other scholars here. And then, of course, in 2004, when I joined the seminary, the Islamic seminary in Iran, this is when I pursued more knowledge, and of course my speaking career became greater.
Excellent, excellent. I guess we'll just turn straight to the main topic for today. As we can see behind us is the Ghadeer Khum, renewing the pledge. So my first real question is, we always hear about Eid al-Ghadeer year in, year out, but what are the actual sort of events? I mean, what really happened on the day of Ghadeer?
Now, to briefly mention the story behind the day of Ghadeer, as you saw in the skit, during the last year of the life of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went to Hajj. That Hajj was called Hajjatul Wada. Now, after he finished Hajj, on his way back from Mecca to Medina, while he was going back with the Muslims, tens of thousands of Muslims had gone to the Hajj. A verse was revealed by Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought down this verse. Ya ayyuha rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. O messenger, convey and deliver the message that Allah has ordered you to do so. وَإِن لَمْ تَفْعَلْ فَمَا بَلَّغْتَ رِسَالَةً. And if you do not, then you have not conveyed any message of Islam the entire 23 years. And that message, of course, was to appoint Imam Ali alayhi salam as his successor. So Rasulullah, he stopped in the way in an area called Khum. And he ordered whoever had gotten ahead to come back, whoever was behind to come to catch up. And then they formed a pulpit from the saddles. Rasulullah ascended and he delivered that sermon that you heard in the skit. He told the Muslims, the narrations state that as many as 100,000 to 200,000 Muslims were there, and it was the largest gathering of Muslims till that day. He began to tell them that I will die soon, but I will not leave you to go astray. I will leave two things: the holy book of Allah and my progeny, Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And as long as you adhere to both of them, you will never be led astray. And then he told them, am I not? Do I not have more authority over yourselves than you have over yourselves? They all said yes. Then Rasulullah called Imam Ali alayhi salam, and he raised his hand just like you saw, and then he said those famous words, Man kuntu mawla fahada aliyun mawla. Whoever I am his guardian, his leader, his imam, then Ali is his mawla, is his imam, is his guardian. So he declared to the Muslims that after I die, Imam Ali is the imam. He's the successor. After he said that, the Muslims, they came and they congratulated Imam Ali for being the successor of Rasulullah. And this story, by the way, is accepted and narrated by all Muslims unanimously. The incident of Ghadeer Khum.
Thank you for that. So we have a number of events within the Shia calendar, namely Eid al-Ghadeer, Muharram, Fatimiyya, and so on and so forth. But this one has always stuck out to me and many of the followers to be a significant event. Why is it such a significant event?
For two reasons. Number one, Why is Eid al-Ghadir, this day, very important? The first reason is because the day of Ghadir is the day that the Holy Prophet appointed the next Imam. And as all the Muslims have narrated the hadith that you have all heard, the hadith of the Prophet where he says, "Man mata walam ya'rif imam zamanih mata mitat al-jahiliyyah." Whoever dies without knowing and accepting the Imam of his time, the correct Imam, that person has died a non-Muslim, as if he died before Islam, during the Jahiliyyah. So Rasulullah wanted to tell the people, inform them who their Imam is after him, so that they will not die a death of Jahiliyyah, so that they will die as complete Muslims. And once Imam Ali is chosen, of course, it will continue in the lineage of Imam Ali, his son Imam Hassan Hussein, until this very day. Our Imam, Imam al-Mahdi, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu al-Sharif, he's the Imam of my time. If it was not for Ghadir and the Prophet telling us who the Imams are, Imam Ali and his sons, we would not be able to distinguish who the Imam of my time is, and thus I would die a death of ignorance, and thus it would have a direct effect on my faith. This is number one. Number two, why Ghadir is important, is because Allah wanted to tell the people that Imam Ali alayhi salam and the other Imams after him, he is your leader both religiously and politically. Number one, religiously, why? Because Allah wanted to preserve the religion of Rasulullah that he brought. And the only way it could be preserved is through Imam Ali, because he was the only one of the companions that had all the knowledge of Rasulullah. The famous hadith says, "Ana Madinatul Ilm." The Prophet says, وَعَلِيٌّ بَابُهَا فَمَنْ أَرَادَ الْمَدِينَةَ فَلْيَأْتِهَا مِنْ بَابِهَا. He says, I am the city of knowledge, and Ali is the door to that city of knowledge. So he has the knowledge of Rasulullah. So Allah wanted to preserve the faith through Imam Ali. How do we know what's right and wrong, what's halal, haram? Through Imam Ali alayhi salam. Now, if Imam Ali is sidelined, where will the Muslims go to understand the Quran? Where will the Muslims go to know halal, haram in their faith? And this is what happened. Imam Ali was sidelined, that created a vacuum. And anytime you have a vacuum, number one, you're going to have many self-proclaimed scholars. They all want to interpret the Quran based on their views. And number two, a vacuum always what? It creates room for extremists. Like back then the Khawarij, and today the extremists like ISIS and Al-Qaeda and all these Wahhabis. Why did these emerge? Because Imam Ali was sidelined. If Imam Ali was there, he would have been the religious authority and he would have interpreted the Quran. These extremists would not have had an opportunity. So this is why the Ghadir is so important. Religiously and real quick, politically. Allah wanted to ensure Imam Ali is the political leader so that justice is served. Imam Ali is sidelined. You have all these, since the time that Imam Ali was sidelined till now, all these tyrants ruling in the name of Islam, but bring nothing but tyranny.
Brilliant, brilliant. Thank you. Just a reminder for exactly. That's exactly. Thank you. Just a reminder for our dear distinguished guests. The first courtesy I would ask, and that is just to keep the talk to a minimum. It is only half an hour of your time before we can indulge in every type of conversations that you have. So please, if I could just kindly ask you one more time, as a courtesy, to keep the talk to a minimum, that would be great. Thank you. Now, saying to I guess my last question, and these historical events will remain in the history, and we revive these teachings year in, year out. But a lot of the times you ask the question, when I'm in university or college or work or whatever field that I'm in, what significance does this have, or I guess what role do we have towards this event, both before or even after this event? What role do we have in order to propagate it or to keep it into our lives? How important is this role to us in this day now?
There are two roles, my dear brothers and sisters, concerning Eid al-Ghadir. Number one, this concerns us, it's inside us, within us, the Shia. The first role that we have is that we have to deal with the Eid of al-Ghadir as the greatest holiday of Allah. Now if I were to ask you, what is the greatest holiday in Islam? What will you tell me? Probably many of you will tell me the day of Eid al-Fitr, correct? Or the day of Eid al-Adha last week. That's incorrect. A man comes to Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. He tells him, what is the greatest Eid in the year? And he asks him, do we even have a Eid besides the day of Eid al-Fitr after Ramadan and Eid al-Adha? The Imam tells him, of course, there is a third Eid that is greater than those two Eids. He tells him, what Eid is that? What holiday? What celebration? He tells him, it's the day of Ghadeer, the day Rasulullah appointed Imam Ali. This is Eidullah al-Akbar, the greatest holiday out of the year. Now, since it is the greatest holiday out of the year, we have to reflect that. Unfortunately, many times, this day comes and goes and many of us don't even know about it. So we have to act and show and express that this is the most important Eid out of the year. So this is between us. That's our first rule. And that's why the same hadith, the man he asks the Imam al-Sadiq, so what should we do on this day? He tells him do some worships, and then he tells him that treat it as a holiday. Celebrate. Let the people know that this is a day of celebration. So this is rule number one. And rule number two is what we were speaking about towards the non-Muslims. On the day of Eid al-Ghadeer, we have to make it our priority to tell the world who Imam Ali was. Most people, non-Muslims, don't know who Imam Ali is. Even if they've heard his name, they don't know about his legacy and teachings and greatness. And in addition to that, we tell them that the day of Eid al-Ghadeer is the day that Allah perfected our religion. Meaning, the true Islam is the Islam of Imam Ali, not the Islam of the Wahhabis, of ISIS and all those extremists. Imam Ali alayhi salam was a victim to the extremists. He was killed by those extremists. The Khawarij, the Wahhabis continue the same thing that the Khawarij back then started. So we tell the world of the true Islam, and that is the Islam of Imam Ali. And tell them this quote, the famous quote of Imam Ali, where he says, people are of two types. Either they are a brother in faith, or you're equal in humanity. This is the humanitarian side of Imam Ali, the loving peace side of the true Islam that is manifested through Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam.
Sayyid, I did want to follow up on what you said. Just one last question, I think. So you mentioned that Eid al-Ghadeer is one of, if not the biggest Eid that the Muslims have, let alone the Shias, but the Muslims have. Now, we know with Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, there are certain rituals, let's just say, that are to be done. For example, Eid al-Fitr, we have Salat al-Eid and everyone gets together and so on and so forth. Is there the same sort of rituals or supplications maybe, or even a'mal to be done with Eid al-Ghadeer?
Yes, there are rituals. They are a little different than the a'mal or the rituals of the day of Eid al-Fitr and Adha, but however, you can find the rituals in the book of Mafatih al-Jinnah. But briefly, one of the most important things is fasting. Fasting is recommended on the day of Eid al-Ghadeer, and it's in 4 days, inshallah. And in addition to that, the Imam says, say Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ali Muhammad continuously the whole day. And amongst the mustahabbat that you find many people do on this day, if you greet any of your brothers or sisters, greet them with this line. Tell them, Alhamdulillah alladhi ja'alana min al-mutamassikeen biwilayat Amir al-Mu'mineen. I thank Allah that He honored me with the wilayah of Imam Ali alayhi salam. And there are some other things, basically worship, read Quran, and read ziyaras of Ahlul Bayt alayhi salam.
Ladies and gentlemen, please help me by giving a round of applause for Sayyid Ahmed Qazwini. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.